They're calling on the phone. Ray Reynolds, the godfather of credit. For over 40 years, Ray Reynolds has helped thousands of customers get millions in cash credit. It's no wonder why they call Ray the godfather of credit. He may even be able to raise your score above 750 before the end of the year. You could even get a new personal or business credit line up to $50,000 within days. If your credit needs a rebuild, call Ray Reynolds and receive a $1,000 cash credit card at closing. Raise your credit score to 750 or more. Call Ray Reynolds at 800-576-2295. 800-576-2295. Learn about Ray's secrets to success and how he can fix and improve your credit score to 750 or more. Call the godfather of credit rebuild, Ray Reynolds, at 800-576-2295. 800-576-2295.
The leaves are changing color, the air is crisp, and it's the perfect time to fall into savings on a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Take advantage of these incredible offers. A 2025 XC40 for only $435 per month on a 36-month lease. A 2024 C40 for only $329 per month on a 36-month lease. Or get 3.99% financing on select new Volvos for 72 months. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter.
The economic uncertainty surrounding this year's election is worse than ever before. But crash-proof consumers rest easy. Their retirement future is election-proof.
I'm Rochelle Porto, Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Leading up to the election, we're seeing how bad the economy is and how worried people are. I was looking for a way to secure my investments. That's why I joined Crashproof in 2014. There's no fees, no risk, and growth every year. My principal has never gone down. I've always earned every year. Everything I've earned in that year creates a new principal, so I'm never going to lose what I actually put in. I've got the freedom to live out my dreams, and I've got the peace of mind to know that my retirement's going to go the way I want. No matter what happens on November 5th, 2024, I'm safe. I'm with Crash-Proof Retirement.
Learn how you can election-proof your retirement future. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Spring Mill Country Club on October 16th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
I will get to local news, but the breaking news story right now as we learn the latest on Hurricane Milton barreling toward especially Tampa, Florida, the Gulf side, destructive storm closing in on Florida with mass evacuations. The Weather Channel, the National Hurricane Center, meteorologists across the nation talking about this as millions of our fellow Americans in Florida are bracing for what appears to be a Category 4 storm. When it makes landfall, then usually it would be downgraded, but it will still be a hurricane, not downgraded to a tropical storm. Once it makes landfall, that's a bit unusual, and then remain a Category 3 or 4 hurricane as it just slices through the middle of the Florida Panhandle. I know that President Joe Biden is expected to speak any moment and give an update. We've been watching all of these updates from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, obviously, and he's been, getting many kudos over the morning, even as he has been updating during these live updates, mostly for the state of Florida, for Floridians, as they're talking about what's going on, all the preparations. And, he's doing declarations, just again, released 8,000 more National Guardsmen and women to be deployed and that sort of thing as they prepare for this, prepare for the hit. It's expected to make landfall sometime tomorrow night, but they have to be prepared. What is that impact, and will it strike earlier? So these evacuations by the hundreds of thousands, if not by the millions, that's underway with just trying to talk people into evacuating, because at some point, and I lived in Florida for several years when I worked for Wink TV, the CBS affiliate there in Florida, on the Gulf
Wink.
Coast. Yes, on Wink, the CBS affiliate. So I can tell you that. First I want to go to, though, and this is late last week, This hasn't been getting a whole lot of play, but President Joe Biden, after surveying, and remember, it took, when this storm struck, remember, it was on a Thursday night. And I'm talking about Hurricane Helene when it first made landfall in Florida. And then we had Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Where was the president, Joe Biden? Where was the vice president? Where were they? They were not visiting those storm damaged and devastated areas. So for President Biden at the time, we know he spent the weekend at the beach in Delaware. And the vice president, I forget, she was fundraising. I think she was in California that first weekend. They did eventually, maybe 5 days later, they started coming to the area. But remember, it was not a great look. Here's Biden late last week as he was asked about the storm victims of Hurricane Helene and how he felt, how he assessed the situation, mostly North Carolina. Listen to this.
I just messed it up,
yeah,
Dawn.
Biden.
Sorry about that.
We can survive.
Just messed it up there. Sorry about that, Dawn. Give me 1 second.
Okay, that's okay. And in a moment, I will bring you, and even bring in local lawmakers in a bipartisan watchdog as something that gets bipartisan support is when they have congressional oversight, right? That's important. And so locally, we have Democrats who have, along with other lawmakers across the country, voted on transparency as far as the budget. Because remember the backdrop, context always matters. So even though there's the storm raging and millions of people who are impacted by it, and arguably hundreds of thousands of people in these 6 states that are already still in recovery mode after Hurricane Helene, even though that's what we're looking at, right? What is a bureaucrat? What are they looking at? What are they fighting for? They are focused on their own personal storm, which is financial. Because remember, the new fiscal year just started October 1st. When did Helene hit? Right around that time, right before then. So what they're thinking about is my budget, my big budget, because I'm a bureaucrat and I want more. I want as much as possible. We have to remember the context that right now Congress is haggling over all the money, right? And then on top of it all, we're, less than 30 days to an election. So just kind of putting all of that in perspective. Here's Joe.
States in the storm zone need, Mr. President?
Okay.
What do the states in the storm zone, what do they need after what you saw today?
Oh, in the storm zone?
Yes, sir.
Storm zone.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about. They're getting everything they need. And they're very happy across the board.
So that was President Joe Biden. Again, this was late last week, but he's saying they're getting everything they need. And by the way, they're very happy. Let me ask you something. Have you heard that? Have you heard that piece of audio? I don't think that really has gone viral across mainstream media, because all you hear in the mainstream media is not Governor DeSantis or all these different governors from different states, or talking about what they're doing. What you hear about over and over and over is Trump. Trump lied again. He lied again about FEMA. That's in the headlines this morning, all day yesterday. That's all I saw. So I started really looking into this. What are they talking about? I think it's disingenuous for the national media, especially, to not go into the detail of the backdrop of this. Now, you could say, well, Trump should talk about the funding, maybe give a little context. He tends to speak in the way that normal people speak. Okay, I'll give you that. If you want to say, well, he should give the context. So when Trump talks about FEMA, did he actually talk about the different groups, the different categories within DHS, or what's the name of the actual fund that helps people with shelter? Okay, no, he didn't. Okay, but I don't think that's really the way normal people speak. And he does word things in a way that everybody can relate to. That's one of the reasons that he's popular. It's one of the things that I think people like about him. He doesn't talk like a slick-talking politician or a bureaucrat. And so Trump is not wrong when he talks about the fact that he's slamming Mayorkas at the time on October 1st. Remember what I told you about October 1st? Because that's the beginning of the new budget year. So think about the Mayorkas brain of a bureaucrat, right? That he knows that he got temporary funding, about what, 20 billion extra to kind of hold him over on October 1st. So he knows, okay, I got 20 billion extra for my budget until Congress comes up with the actual budget, right? They're still haggling over that stuff. So I got 20 billion, but that 20 billion isn't for what's ahead. Because remember, this is a slow moving bureaucratic, it's FEMA. So they're still paying out money to victims of devastating floods and fires, that money that these victims from January have been dealing with, and maybe even before, because people are still waiting for their checks. Let us not forget that even though it's easy to criticize and say, well, wait a minute, these people should get immediate help, FEMA is slow moving, okay? It's not, as far as the money goes. And so the problem here is that Mayorkas, as he's looking at this, he's saying, well, wait a minute, I've got $20 billion, but I have to stretch that out. That's why he made that comment that we aired. He did make the comment. You can look it up if you don't believe me, but he did indeed on October 1st, he made that comment where he stated that he really didn't think that there was enough, that he needed more money. I will tell you that, because I'm an enabler, if I'm speaking for him, I think he was referring to the fact that he urgently needs Congress to get their butts moving and get the budget going. I get that, but that's not what he said. I'm trying to be fair to all sides here, but the mainstream media is never fair about this. Do they ever give you the context by which Trump says something, or any of these individuals? No, they don't. And so that's a real problem here. That creates this mass hysteria as these mass evacuations are underway. So Hurricane Helene, by the way, newly released estimates. This is not from Milton that's upcoming. I'm talking about Hurricane Helene that hit less than 2 weeks ago. The new estimate from federal officials is that Hurricane Helene caused more than $47 billion with a B dollars in losses for these property owners. This is devastating.
I'll do the Mayorkas audio if you wanted that.
Yeah, let's listen.
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
So that's what he said. Now, remember, nobody even knew about Hurricane Milton, okay? So he's getting briefed. Think about this. And this is October 1st, and they're looking at hurricane season. And they're thinking about all of these hurricanes. They're teed up. They're on the deck, right? And so he's looking at this, and he's saying, whoa, hey, Congress, you got to get yourselves in order. We can't deal with this. And so in the context of what I just told you, it makes a little more sense, but nobody puts anything in context, okay? And so also, let's put other things in the context of improper context. Let's also think about that September 25th, this is before Helene, Congress passed the resolution to keep the federal government open. I told you about that. They gave the $20 billion for FEMA to tap into that cash for the current disaster victims and in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, but also for those communities I talked about still awaiting funds from even like 8-9 months ago. Okay. Now on top of it, what else did they leave out? Disaster Relief Fund. So the immediate cash that you can tap into, and that's part of what Mayorkas wants. There are other funds, DRF. Okay, so Trump is not going to sit here and explain this, right? Because look at how long it's taking me to explain it. I'm just saying, Trump is giving you the bottom line. And the bottom line is that these individuals are not doing exactly what they need to do to get to the emergency funds. And so so Trump is right. He's not wrong when he says this administration is failing to do what they've got to do to get the money as quickly as possible. Remember, he's the guy when he wanted to build the wall and he looked around and he thinks outside the box. Why? Because he's a business guy. And he goes, hey, Pentagon, hey, I see your nice, juicy, big, fat budget. I'm going to tap into that to build the wall. And they flipped out because these bureaucrats don't be touching this is my big kitty. This would be like when my husband Lair Bear.
God, Becky, look at her butt.
Budget.
It is so big.
Look at her butt. It's so big. This is like when Lair Bear realizes where my stash is. You know what I'm saying? That's what Trump does. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, dang. He found my stash, or he found my credit card that's not on his radar that I've been spending on.
Oh, you have a private credit card.
Not that, okay, he can't be here. He's not listening right now. So, shh. But see, and just like he likes a big butt, they like their big budget, baby. Baby got back.
Baby got budget.
Baby got budget. Don't find the baby's budget. That's just what it is. We'll talk about all of it. Get your take, 855-839-1210. Just want to give you some of that perspective and some little bit of Biden that you haven't heard. Oh, and there's more. Wait till you hear what Michael Moore, you're not going to like what Michael Moore has to say, but remember, he was right when it comes to Trump in 2016. Is he right again? I hope not. So much more and great interviews. Michael Watley on deck coming up. Be right back.
Your girlfriend got the butt. Hell yeah. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake that healthy butt. Baby got back.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
How is that possible? In the United States of America, FEMA doesn't have the resources. Hurricanes aren't anything new. They've been happening since the beginning of time. It's not we don't have the resources. It's we didn't allocate the resources properly. FEMA is spending money on stuff that is America last. That is the unacceptable part. Not whether it was which county it is, Democrat, Republican. We're talking about human beings' lives, and they're out of money.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Is your car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My mechanic just suggested an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover repair bills if anything happens to the car. New brakes, transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait, you pay nothing on repairs? Ox gets it fixed? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance?
Yeah, you don't pay. Ox pays. Ox even has a 30-day money-back guarantee and is A+ rated on the BBB. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike those other warranty companies.
The last thing I need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-224-8517. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care. 800-224-8517. 800-224-8517. Or go to oxcarcare.com.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. Isn't it time to invest in yourself? Well, how about this? Start a PI Dental Center with decades of experience in complex dental treatment, and I've been a patient in PI Dental for 20 years. Dr. Glenn Wolfinger and Dr. Robert Slough, they're board-certified prosthodontists. They specialize in the restoration and replacement of teeth, and PI Dental Center are the originators of the teeth in a day. It's a revolutionary treatment that delivers fixed teeth and implants placed for a dramatic transformation in a mere one day. So visit PIDentalCenter.com. That's PIDentalCenter.com to request your new patient evaluation.
There's breaking news all day long from around the world, and sometimes all that noise makes it hard to hear about what's happening right here at home. With the free Odyssey app, getting your local news plus breaking news is easy. And even when you're not near a radio, stay connected with what's going on right here by listening live and push alerts. Just download the free Odyssey app and search and follow your local news station, and you're good to go. The local breaking news to get you through your day at your fingertips on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Free speech lives here with Kale and Company weekday mornings on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
The lyrical gangster, big up the crew in the area, still living like that.
Yeah, lyrical. Joe Biden is not the lyrical anything,
Not a
and
lyrical
that's
gangster.
That's part of the problem. Thank you, Dan Borowski, for that. I love the music and the baby's got back.
Feeling some 90s rap today, yeah?
I
Some,
like
yeah.
big butts, big budgets. We have to, and I cannot lie.
Maybe get some Bismarck Key on today at some point.
I will tell you, along with what Congress is battling over as far as the budget, think about the ironically named Inflation Reduction Act. Democrats are trying to pay that and kind of shift things around. Again, I'll use my own personal analogy, me trying to shift things around so my husband can't like know and call me out, and then I have to go, oh, I'm sorry. So you don't want to get busted, right? And that's what's going on.
It sounds like you're speaking from experience.
No, I mean, I'm just.
You've never been busted, no?
Hypothetically.
Okay.
I'm just saying here.
It seems like you might be busted.
So we have, first of all,
what are you buying though? Like we go into Wawa and just doing small purchases, or are we buying like purses on this card?
No, I'm not buying. Look I've had the same pocketbook forever. Absolutely not.
You have, yeah.
It's usually stuff
Trips
well, I
to
did
Italy.
get busted on and I got blasted in my family.
Yeah.
For Timu.
Oh.
Because they're like, that's the Chinese government. You're supporting communism.
Timu? Oh no.
And I'm like, I just bought some like flip flops and some.
Yeah, $1.50 flip flops.
You know what I mean? Like they're like
that they sell for $30 on Amazon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you do get cheap stuff.
Yeah.
But Congressional Budget Office, it's nonpartisan. And when you look at all their latest stuff over the past week, you can look it up yourself. Congressional Budget Office, nonpartisan, kind of a watchdog group. So what did they release recently? They talked about the Medicaid program, and they estimate that Biden-Harris, this administration's open border agenda, cost federal and state taxpayers more than $16.2 billion with a B dollars. That's your tax dollars. The fleecing of America to provide Medicaid-funded emergency services to illegal immigrants. Okay, since they took office. So I believe the $16.2 billion in the emergency Medicaid type services that they've given to folks. This is during this current administration, so over a 3+ year period. But $16.2 billion. What would you do with $16.2 billion? Even think as we all recover from the pandemic, for example, and businesses shut down and people wiped out financially, the high interest rates. What if they had created funds for like somebody who wanted to save their small business or create a small business and hire people? I can think of a whole bunch of ideas right off the top of my head where I could use that $16.2 billion. But this administration spent that money on free medical services, and not for nothing here, but think about, when we leave here from work in Philadelphia, how many homeless people do you see? And they're out here, and some of them in a wheelchair, they're disabled. Some of them full well are veterans. Think about the homelessness issue, the suicide and mental health crisis that's striking our veterans. And I mean, we could go through this and talk about all of this. Think about the record number of children, homeless children right now. Okay, they're going to school, public school here in Philadelphia and beyond. But guess what? That's the largest group of people who live in homeless shelters are children. Did you know that? That's happening here in Philadelphia and across the country. That is not acceptable. So why don't we put them first? Do you know why? I'm going to tell you something. This is a huge story. And we will find out the truth of it. But the truth is, I believe that as our blue cities across America have lost population, this was an effort to say, open up the borders, let folks come in, we'll vet them later on. But these are future voters who are going to vote D because they're going to be grateful to us. That's what's going on. They didn't care about the homeless veterans. They didn't care about our children who are in poverty-stricken areas. And remember, we're the poorest big city in America. It affects us right here in Philadelphia. They didn't care about you, me. They didn't care about any of that. All they cared about was their partisan, their party winning and holding power. That's it. Bottom line, end of story. This is the Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, releasing, and this is just recently, its analysis of newly announced Biden-Harris programs intended to really cover up for the flaws of the so-called, the ironically named Inflation Reduction Act, IRA. Based on these estimates, and this is a bipartisan group, this stunt to lower the cost of, let's say, seniors. This is Part D premiums. How many times have you seen that? Well, they've been good for seniors and the Part D premiums, and they're going to lower the cost. And that's what they keep saying. The commercials are airing right now. Let's fact check it. How much did that cost the rest of us in taxpayer dollars? $7 billion. $7 billion. So that's a new tax coming up for you and me in 2025. Look forward to that, including $2 billion in interest on already ballooning debt that if implemented as planned, that's what it's going to cost you and me and all of us. These are new tax dollars. This is how, when you hear Vice President Kamala Harris speak as if she's brand new and she's never been in office and she's not in office, it's a new tax. Nobody's talking about this, okay? And maybe that's one of the reasons that even locally, ranking member Brendan Boyle, you know him, he's a Democrat from here in Pennsylvania, local guy, okay? This is a House Budget Committee bill this is unanimous support for this legislation that expands the watchdog group that I'm talking about, the CBO's authority to request and receive all the data. This is transparency from the executive branch agencies, okay? So even Democrats are looking at all of this crazy spending that both parties have been doing, and they're saying we've got to have the transparency. And this is from the same group that I just quoted that said that this administration is spending all of these billions of dollars in the Medicaid spending and all of that for emergency services for folks who've come here illegally during the Biden-Harris administration. You can look it up yourself.
Before you go on, and before we get to our next great guest, I just want to play back. Joining Kate Baldane today on CNN was Deanne Criswell, the administrator of FEMA, Dawn, and she says why you shouldn't be speaking out against the mismanagement of FEMA. If you want to hear that, it's about 20 seconds.
But I want to make sure that this has to stop, because if it continues, we will see more and more people not trusting their federal government to be able to give them what they need. And so I need people to register for assistance so I can get them the financial resources they need to support their recovery.
Oh, so I need, first of all, it's a bizarre way. That's how that's how a 13-year-old talks, especially a girl like, Mom, I need, because this is not installed anymore, and I need. So first of all, it's a weird, bizarre way of doing this, because what she should be saying is,
and so I need people to register for assistance.
No, lady. You know what you need? You need to serve the people. See, that's what she needs to say. I work for you. And it's a difference that even our mayor, Sherelle Parker, I'll bring it home locally. You hear Mayor Parker all the time say, we work for you. I work for you. I want to serve you better. You're the customer. This is what this lady, you know what she needs? She needs to understand that we pay her salary. She works for us, not the other way around, okay? And the reason we don't trust her, and by the way, they were so, you know what they were busy with doing? They're so, political and politically minded. They created like a rumor site. They took the time at FEMA to say, like, busting the rumor site, or where the stupid name is, because that's what they need to do, because they need this administration, this failed administration, to win, because they don't want to be exposed by their swamp monster policies.
Be able to give them what they need. And so I need people to register.
Yeah, people are crying out for help. And when you see the interviews on the ground, let me ask you something. Are they lying? Who's lying here? Because the bottom line is, I see over and over these people saying, I need help. Help us. We haven't seen FEMA. Please, we need you. Okay, so somebody's lying here, and I'm just tending to believe real people who are devastated and crying over this. Yes, FEMA is a big bureaucratic agency. Do I believe these are evil people who just don't want to serve? No, I'm not going to say that. But you know what? We need for them to do a better job. FEMA, get it together. We have a great guest, Michael Watley, just ahead. The Stensland Show, 855-839-1210. Be right back.
This is Jonathan Cans, third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Did you procrastinate another summer on getting that old AC unit replaced? Or maybe waited another winter to replace that ancient furnace? Well, stop procrastinating. Now is the time to replace that old AC unit or furnace, because our big rebates available. Big ones, up to $2,600 in rebates. We've got PICO rebates, manufacturer's rebates, electrical association rebates, and more. At Marvin E. Cans Inc., we are rebate experts. Contact us at marvinecans.com. That's MarvinEKANZE.com.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
So recently I had reported that the RNC chairman, Michael Whatley, who is also an attorney, needs no introduction, really was here in our area in Montgomery County. A lot of people fired up in Montgo, and that's why perhaps President Joe Biden is coming to Montgo this evening, as it looks like the D's are a little worried about the Senate race involving career politician who lives off his dad's coattails in one Senator Casey Jr., as combat war veteran and successful businessman Dave McCormick, who you heard me talk to yesterday, is within striking distance. And that has never happened to Casey Jr. before. Joining me now, Chairman Whatley. Good morning. Thanks for being here again, Michael.
It is great to be on with you, and I think you're absolutely right. The Democrats have a lot of reason to be concerned right now. We are seeing a lot of momentum in Pennsylvania with Donald Trump and with Dave McCormick. We are playing offense, and the Democrats are playing defense. And if you've got to bring in Joe Biden to try and shore up an area in Montgomery County there, you're in trouble.
Amen.
That's a great point.
It's an incredible point. It is.
I doesn't want to be around Kamala right now, it seems.
Let's take you to, first of all, I'll start out with yesterday, October 7th, and the coverage, just to get your take before I move on to the big story of the day, which is, of course, your beloved North Carolina, as well as Florida and the latest hurricane. But I do want to get your reaction, Michael Whatley, to just the coverage yesterday, which struck me as yesterday was 1 year since the murder, the slaughter, the rape of 1,200 innocent civilians. The media covered that as rather an event that affected both. They kept saying both sides, Palestinians and those Jews, those Israelis who were targeted by terrorists. Just your reaction to the coverage all day yesterday.
There is no such thing as moral equivalency when it comes to the attacks on October 7th. Folks are saying that we need to get back to a ceasefire, but they forget that there was a ceasefire in place on October 6th, that Hamas broke the ceasefire and came over from Gaza and committed the atrocities that they did, 1,400 that were dead, hostages that were taken. We still have hostages, both as Israeli and American hostages, that are being held a year later. There is really no response other than you've got to take Hamas and you've got to take them off the map. And I think Israel has absolutely been doing the right thing in terms of fighting a very just war, a just response. I was horrified during the vice presidential debate when they asked, do you think that Israel would be justified in a preemptive strike against Iran? It's not preemptive. It's not preemptive. Iran has actually sent 300 ballistic missiles into Israel.
Yes.
Their proxies have sent tens of thousands of ballistic missiles and other missiles and drones into Israel over the course of the last year. They have absolutely attacked Israel and done everything they can to wipe them off the face of the earth. And Israel is entirely justified in defending themselves. And I think shame on anybody in the United States or anywhere else around the world that is not going to back Israel and give them every bit of aid and comfort that they need to be able to defend themselves and their people.
And speaking of giving aid and comfort, you have said that your fellow North Carolinians are being abandoned by the government, by this current administration, Biden-Harris. What do you mean by that? As I look at headlines and all the so-called mainstream media, bias by omission and all of that, but they all say, oh no, these are lies being spread by MAGA Republicans.
Well, what I'm hearing from people on the ground all across western North Carolina, as well as eastern Tennessee, southwestern Virginia, and in Georgia, is that the response from the federal government was slow, was insufficient, and that the government needs to do better. Right now we're seeing the Red Cross, we are seeing Samaritan's Purse and other charities that are stepping up. We are seeing thousands upon thousands of volunteers who are pitching in to be able to help their neighbors. I'm glad FEMA's on the ground. I am very glad that they've come in. I'm very glad that the National Guard has come in. I think that the response was unfortunately nowhere near as quick as it needed to be. And I will just defer to everybody that I've talked to, dozens and dozens of people from all across the state who are saying that they have not felt the FEMA presence, that they have not gotten the assistance that they needed from it. And the fact that D.C. Finally seems to have woken up and moved those resources in, I welcome that. I wish that it would have been timely. The fact is, Kamala Harris was in California, San Francisco, for a fundraiser when that hurricane hit. Joe Biden was sitting on a beach when that hurricane hit. There was nobody in the emergency response room. They were not there managing this crisis the way that I think a president and a vice president should be doing when you're talking about, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia, and West Virginia getting absolutely drilled by one of the most horrific hurricanes in generations.
Yeah, and part of that, I'm seeing that as we look now, and it's horrifying with this destructive storm closing in on Florida as we're speaking, Michael. At the same time, I'm seeing that in North Carolina, as people, on one hand, they're recovering. On the other hand, they seem galvanized and determined, even last Sunday, that they wanted to still go to church or make a makeshift church to worship or synagogue. And then on top of it, that they want to vote. So what does that look like as far as the implications for voters in 6 important states, obviously, across Florida and across the South?
Yeah, so yesterday in North Carolina, the Board of Elections adopted a package of changes that need to be made in the region just to kind of facilitate, voting. We're going to have the legislature meeting tomorrow to pass legislation designed to help make sure that the resources that they need in Western North Carolina are going to go through. We've been having lots of conversations with the state parties and with the county parties, as well as the legislatures in every one of these affected states. And, the key for us is we're going to fight every day to make sure everybody has the opportunity to vote. And I do believe that the states and the boards of elections are doing what they can do right now to make sure that they're going to have facilities up and running where people can go vote. The hard part is going to be, if your house got destroyed and you're not, obviously living in that house, are you going to be able to go back and vote? If you're dealing with, the catastrophic nature of this, or you're dealing with a death in your family, there are a lot of people who, we just want to make sure that they know here's how you vote, where you vote, and when you vote. So we're going to have a lot of information that's going to be going out to the voters to make sure that they're all going to get out there. And I think you're right. You mentioned the word galvanized. That is something that I have heard from across the region, that people are truly unified and saying, you know what, make sure that we get this polling place open because my people are going to come vote and I'm going to go vote, which I think is absolutely so critical. And you're talking about a part of the country that honestly tends to get forgotten by people in California and Washington, and we really need to make sure that we're taking care of them and that they're going to show up. I absolutely agree with you that they're going to show, and I think that they're going to be a critical part of our coalition to win this election.
You know, I saw that this morning on Truth Social, former President Trump, he put out a statement about the interview with 60 Minutes. It was an embarrassment to our country, and talked about the fact that it's incompetence on helping people through the devastation of Hurricane Helene, and he goes on. But as far as this goes, are there other people, to your point, in other parts of the country who on one hand, and this is the influence of social media and why I think Hillary Clinton and other Democrats in particular are worried about social media, because you can't help but see what you referred to, what we've all seen. People in Batcave, North Carolina, right, or wherever in South Carolina, and it's an authentic person. This is not AI, and they're telling their story. And then they're saying, hey, I just want to thank, the farmer who got his drone and found us, or whatever that looks like, saved the baby. Does that resonate? And how much does something like that resonate across the country with people who are working people who look at this and say, there's one group that's talking about me. There's another group that is not, it doesn't seem to care about me. I mean, how much does that resonate in a campaign?
I think it does. I think that when you have a split screen that shows Donald Trump in Georgia with Franklin Graham talking about Samaritan's Purse and being on the ground, when you see people in Western North Carolina that are helping their neighbors and helping their friends or helping strangers, the people that they're just showing up to help. I mean, we've seen a fleet of helicopters and private airplanes that are ferrying in supplies and supplies and supplies to be able to help people. And at the same time, Kamala Harris is putting out a tweet that says, look at me, I'm giving $157 million in aid to, Lebanon. The disconnect is absolutely stunning. The fact that they would choose from the vice president's own, feed to talk about international aid that we are giving out for disaster recovery, or how much we're spending in Ukraine to try and help folks there. There is a very real disconnect there that is being felt not just in North Carolina and Georgia, but around the country.
There are headlines this morning, Trump v. Harris, how the polls look just 4 weeks before the election. But there's one that, says that it's a New York Times poll showing Trump with big leads in Florida as well as in Texas. And that's part of, we began by talking about here in Pennsylvania, Trump here, obviously in Pennsylvania tomorrow, was just here for an incredible emotional rally in Butler over the weekend. But is that part of the reason that a Joe Biden is coming here to try to campaign with somebody like Senator Casey in Montgomery County? Is how much of a concern is this that Trump at the top of the ticket, if he's gaining, then the Caseys of the world in a tough Senate race can benefit from those coattails?
Yeah, Republicans are playing offense, and what we're seeing right now is commanding leads in Texas and Florida, which is going to help make sure that our two vulnerables on the Republican side for the Senate, Ted Cruz in Texas and Rick Scott in Florida, both have very commanding leads outside the margin of error and are doing what they can. So the Democrats know that they're not really going to have a path to the Senate unless they can hold on to Pennsylvania, unless they can hold on to Ohio, unless they can hold on to Michigan or Montana. And right now, we are seeing great gains by all of these candidates. Dave McCormick is doing an absolutely fantastic job of campaigning in Pennsylvania. He is everywhere he needs to be. He is raising money. He is putting great ads together, putting them on social media, putting them on TV. He is connecting with Pennsylvania voters. And really, at the end of the day, there's one thing that you cannot replace, which is that work ethic, right? And he is out there. He is all over the state But you also have to remember it's not just about the messenger, it's about the message. And he is listening to Pennsylvania voters, and he is talking about solutions to their issues and their needs. The people in Pennsylvania want somebody who is going to champion fracking and the energy development across the state. They want somebody who is going to ensure that Pennsylvania is no longer a border state. They want somebody who is going to do what they can to bring down inflationary spending. People talk about Kamala Harris as the tie-breaking vote on $2.5 trillion worth of inflationary spending that sent gasoline prices, grocery prices, and housing prices through the roof. But you know what? Casey was the 50th vote. If Bob Casey had voted against that unnecessary inflationary spending, then Kamala Harris would have never had a chance to break that tie. So Pennsylvania deserves better, and they're going to get it better. And what we're seeing right now is the Republicans, Dave McCormick, Donald Trump, and everybody else across the country are absolutely playing offense and have a lot of momentum.
RNC Chairman Michael Whatley, thank you so much for joining me once again. And I'll be at another event. That's the thing locally here. I'll tell you, Trump Force 47. They've been in Bucks County, Chester County, Montgomery County. Tonight, I'm in Media in Delaware County. But they've been more active than I remember in recent years with the Trump 47, with the local and regional folks. So a lot of momentum here. I know you've got to be excited. Thank you, Michael Whatley, for joining me.
Yes, ma'am. Hope that you and your listeners have a great week. I know President Trump is very excited about getting back into Pennsylvania. We want to thank everybody for their amazing outcome and support with the Butler, Pennsylvania rally. That was really, I think, a very important evening for all of us around the president and for the president in particular.
I agree. It was, and I think for the people here in Pennsylvania, we're not known as the place where that horrifying and deadly attack happened on Corey Comparator, but I think the way that they came back, that Trump came back as promised, was also, it was a beautiful way to kind of have some closure. And I think we all appreciate that. Thank you, Michael. Michael Whatley, RNC chairman. And we'll be talking about Trump coming to PA tomorrow and Biden here today. And in fact, we know that the president, because remember, I have to say it, Joe Biden is, he's still the president of the United States of America. I guess he's going to hold a news conference. I don't know exactly what time because I haven't had time to look it up. So we'll get that information to you. And there's an exclusive story about, there are a couple of exclusives nationally about Dave McCormick. So I noticed that McCormick is making more national headlines. Isn't that interesting? How timely that they're focusing in on the Pennsylvania Senate race. Isn't that special? All right, we got to talk about that. I got to talk about Piazza, and I got to talk about your fall road trip as we move forward, because this is such a beautiful time of year. By the way, sunny skies, beautiful fall weather in the 70s through the weekend. Actually, this weekend will be in the mid to upper 70s. So right now, great time for that road trip. But do you know if your vehicle is road trip ready? My friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles, they're going to help make sure that you and your family are safe out on the roads. These service centers of the Piazza Premium dealers, they not only handle all the regular stuff, the regular maintenance needs that you have, but also they can diagnose those possible issues before they happen, before you hit the road. Schedule a service appointment online today, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com, Piazza, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. Always make sure you tell them Dawn sent you.
Your weeknights are getting a whole lot better. With Jimmy Fallon, 7 to 10 p.m.
Honestly, I do mean this. What an incredible honor to join this lineup, because the thing you guys do that matters to me, you guys know your listeners. You hang out with them, you meet them, you do events. That to me is amazing. That's why I got into radio. Is you want to be a part of the community. I'm always on tour doing live events. I want to be part of the community, which is a fancy way of me saying I got to get out of New York a lot because I owe a lot of people money. But the point is,
Jimmy Fallon, now weeknights, 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Are you tired of relying on caffeine for a quick energy fix? There's a better way to revitalize your body from within. Introducing Oracine by Rescue Natural Supplements, the cellular energizer that helps your body produce its own natural fuel. Say goodbye to daily fatigue and hello to lasting energy. As a bonus, Oracine supports heart health, optimal blood pressure too. That's why you can't miss out on this exclusive radio offer. Buy one bottle of Oracine, get another absolutely free. Simply use the code FUEL when you place that order. Call today at 800-26-LIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Be sure to use that code FUEL, F-U-E-L, for this buy one, get one free offer on Rescue Oracine. Remember, use the code FUEL at res-q.com today.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey, Saturday, October 26th. It's the story of Philadelphia sports put to music.
Oh, I thought it was awesome. It was funny and great band. His imitation of the Bee Gees.
The stylistics and stuff, I just love that.
Oh, it was great. This is the third time we've seen him. He's awesome.
I can relate to Joe Conklin. Great variety. There was something for everyone.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm at Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey, Saturday, October 26th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
JoeConklin.com! When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Aaron Nola and the Phillies take on the Mets in a pivotal Game 3 of the NLDS. You can register to vote at tonight's Sabrina Carpenter concert. A nonprofit is working with musicians to help young voters sign up. And New Jersey and some other states are suing TikTok, claiming it's addictive and harmful to children.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Warning. The following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today.
call 800-296-7260. That's 800-296-7260. 800-296-7260.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-511-3535. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-511-3535. 800-511-3535 or biglou.com.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
Congressman Dan Muser just ahead. Just saw him in Montgomery County, so we'll zoom in, zoom out with him. It's Amazon Prime Day, so there are local police and across the country. Did you know it's Amazon Prime Day?
No, but I'm about to go check out right now what's going on here.
My husband ordered
a piano.
You know what he ordered? One of those. What's that? What are you looking at?
A piano.
What?
Yeah, I want a piano.
Like a big...
No.
Oh.
Like an electric keyboard that
cool.
plugs into the computer where I can learn how to play better.
That's neat.
Yeah, so I got really back into playing my guitar and learning some things on the guitar. And then,
self-taught?
Yeah. Well, I took lessons when I was younger, and then in high school, one of the electives in Indiana is actually guitar, so I took some of that. But then my dog that we adopted, Callie, is petrified of guitars for some reason. Every time I pull a thing out, she runs and she barks, and it's a whole thing. So I want something that I can kind of put earphones in and listen to it, and I know how to play a piano, too, and I want to get better at it. So
cool.
I'll be signing on to Prime Day for that. Thanks
Very
for the heads
cool.
up.
I love
I don't know if you're going to speak negatively about Prime Day. Sorry to tramp on that.
No. I love that. Like, what do you order? So my husband ordered, maybe this is a commentary on he wants me to vacuum more often, like I have a lot of time.
Oh, no.
But he ordered one of those, what is it called? You know, the little vacuum that's like the robo little vacuum?
Yeah, like the shark kind of thing.
You know, the little, and it goes around and it's like a disc.
Oh, you're talking like the robot ones.
Like the robot one that just, and it vacuums.
Why can't I think of the big name one?
I know, I can't think of it. But that's what he ordered. So I'm like, oh, you setting that up? And he's like, I'm going to set it up.
iRobot?
Like,
no.
It's like one of those.
Yeah.
The robot.
Roomba. Yeah,
that's
why can't I think of the name Roomba?
Yeah, Larry Bear. That's what he did. The
like
Roomba.
Joe Biden on stage.
So what did you order on Amazon Prime, or do you even bother? 855-839-1210. We could maybe have a little fun, but on a serious note, local police and across our entire region, just reminding people that, guess what? Thieves are on the lookout. So if you have all those packages, remember to bring them in as soon as possible, especially if it's a high-value delivery. Maybe you want to make sure that you secure a pickup location and that you require a signature or a trusted neighbor, that sort of thing. So they are putting out those Amazon Prime advisories because, you know, those thefts are unfortunately out there. So we got that going on. Great. Dan Muser, look forward to talking to him. So we'll get his take on Pennsylvania, Trump here tomorrow. He's excited to talk about that. And as well, he was in Butler, PA. So we'll talk to him about the great Trump rally. Man, that was huge, wasn't it? It gave me such good vibes. All of that and more. Thanks for being here. We'll be right back.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. I want to talk about my friend, dentist, and board-certified prosthodontist, Dr. Robert Bentz, and the Bentz Dental Group. With the cooler weather, it's a great time to stop procrastinating. Take care of your dental health. Plus, now's the best time to see a prosthodontist, especially to help with complications as we get older and help prevent major problems. Get the smile you really want. Take control of your oral health. Call the Bentz Dental Group, 610-272-6949. Visit BentzDentalGroup.com.
This is Larry Sinus with Investor Schooling. You may know me from my book, Money Hacks. You may know me from my radio shows. And you may even know me from some of these commercials. But listen, I'm teaching stuff that people need to learn about money. In fact, my favorite topic is money. So go to investorschooling.com and you will learn things about money that you never even knew existed. We will teach you things about real estate, about the stock market, and about how to use your IRAs properly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Sinus with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
Chase wants everyone to be able to have a place of their own. That's why we offer mortgages that help you purchase your new home with down payments as low as 3%. To find out more about our low down payment options and other ways Chase can make your home buying dreams a reality, visit chase.com/homebuyer or your local Chase branch. Loan amount, loan value, and loan product type limits apply. Geographic restrictions may apply for jumbo loans. Products are subject to credit and property approval. Program terms are subject to change without notice. Other limitations and restrictions apply. Home lending products provided by JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
So Montgomery County in the news as we think about Montgo is having this mobile unit, the first ever they're talking about launching Pennsylvania's first ever mobile voter services office over the weekend during a local festival, a big van that they're going across Montgo. Recently saw a familiar face, Congressman Dan Muser joining me this morning. And thank you so much for being here. We were actually at the same event, kind of said hi at that huge event in Montgomery County less than 2 weeks ago, where Michael Watley was one of the keynotes and you as well. So thanks for being here this morning.
Dawn, very nice to be with you. Thanks.
Absolutely. So first of all, Montgomery County, I started with that because that's where Joe Biden will be this evening as he is focusing in on this traditionally blue area. Will it be as blue? Well, he's there campaigning with Casey, but of course, former President Trump will be here in Pennsylvania, I think 2 locations, right? And excited about campaigning back to Pennsylvania after Butler.
Yeah, he's going to be, President Trump's going to be in Scranton tomorrow as well as Reading. I'm trying to make both, but I think I'm going to be speaking in Reading, and they'll take care of business in Scranton. You know, a lot of the message is going to be just about the incredible choice to be made now until November 5th. November 5th is no longer election day. It's the last day of the election period.
Yeah.
So we need to get those mail-ins, the early voting done. I mean, we just got to make sure we vote. I mean, voter turnout is everything. You were at that Montgomery event, and certainly Michael Watley, the RNC chair, spoke about that at length. Out in Butler on Saturday, Elon Musk, pretty smart guy, spoke heavily. In fact, he just kept repeating that register, vote, make sure you get there. That's what all of this is about. Because everything, it's just so crucial at this point, right? I mean, Kamala's record on the border, on the economy, on spending. They want to spend an additional $2 trillion on top of the deficits they've already run up. The energy policy is gas backwards. I mean, trade deficits. Every time you put on the news on anything where there's numbers, I mean, it's just it's just a disaster. And and the American people also have to keep in mind there's a lot more to it with if we have Kamala in the White House, and then if we don't keep the Senate, and God forbid we lose the House. I mean, the filibuster is in jeopardy. I mean, that's something that holds. You lose that, they'll make D.C. a state. They'll pack the courts. Our republic is in many ways on the ballot. And if we want to hand it to these folks, I mean, their dream is for the party, for the federal government and the media, the Democrat Party, that is, and the federal government and the media to all be as one. And, that spells disaster.
It's so true. I know that you were there in Butler over the weekend. What an incredible, it looked like, I don't know, it looked like 100,000 people. I don't know what the crowd size was, but there was so much heart. Can you just give you have some personal, just your personal take, Congressman Muser, on what you experienced in Butler?
Sure, Dawn. It makes me smile just thinking about it because it really was such a great day. I mean, the weather was beautiful, and President Trump, I was in the middle of doing a media hit on Newsmax, and Trump came flying through. He did a couple of flybys. It was great. We had parachuters coming down. It was so patriotic, and it was so happy, yet at the same time so solemn, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we were there. A crazy person tried to kill the President Trump. Corey Competore lost his life while being a hero, while protecting his daughter, while protecting his wife. And myself and Dave McCormick had the opportunity to sit right next to them during the course of the event. And just great people. I mean, just so sad, though, and appreciative, yet sad. And, President Trump, wow, did he handle it well? Just charm and grace and appreciation. And then he had a Macchio opera singer come out and Ave Maria. I mean, it was right. It was just, and he was just making a tribute to him. We felt it was a tribute to Corey, but also a tribute to the fact that President Trump survived getting shot in the head or the ear. And so we and it was a comeback, right? That's what America is. We get knocked down. The president went down. He said he was going to come back. He felt it was his obligation. He said on July 13th, I'll be back. And he sure as heck was. And, many people thought it was a bad idea. I was probably one of them for his safety purposes to do it. But he did. And, boy, it turned out to be a great idea. It was really something.
Yeah, it was. I was looking at your site earlier today and last night. The first thing that struck us is, how can we serve you? Because we were just playing one of the FEMA directors who said, what I want people to do. It's just a little different philosophy, kind of shows your philosophy. But I noticed, one of the things, and final question here, is you focus in a lot on your legislation, thinking about Pennsylvania. And we suffered during the pandemic, as you well know, and just a lot of, here in Philadelphia, where I'm broadcasting from, but across Pennsylvania, small businesses, I think about so many people who retired, even doctors, but small businesses. This is something that you have an outlook for small businesses. If we could just get a moment where you would talk about your philosophy on this, how through proper policy, even at your level, congressional level, the executive branch, how we rebuild America.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, President Trump, like he did in his term, is going to be a rising tide that lifts all boats that aren't weighted down anyway. Even the Democrats now are sunsetting his taxes. Of course, they opened up his secure borders. The assault on American energy has caused a big factor in causing inflation. So they reversed what President Trump was doing to grow our economy, pro-growth initiatives, which, of course, kept inflation down or non-existent virtually, and low interest rates. So we have to get back to that. Those are largely the fundamentals. We cannot allow the Trump tax cuts for small businesses to sunset. It'll be a disaster. It's way over a 20% increase that they'll be facing, and there'll be cutbacks. It'll hurt manufacturing. These people, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and the minions around them, they talk about making products in the United States. Meanwhile, they talk about putting more costs and regulations on American businesses, and God forbid we allow any reciprocal tariffs on overseas products. I mean, they're just wrong. everything they do backfires and is wrong and will hurt. And there's no way we can afford it for the next 4 years. So, my philosophy is we got to follow those fundamentals. We've got to allow businesses to be highly competitive. We need great trade agreements that President Trump also installed, and he actually put me on his trade work group at the time, so we can sell all our great products and services and everything else around the world. But then, something, Dawn, then it's going to be a competition of states. And if Pennsylvania doesn't rise to the occasion and start getting serious about winning and serious about pro-growth initiatives, Arizona, Tennessee, Georgia, Carolinas, Florida, of course, Texas, Utah, Indiana are going to leave us behind. We're going to continue to lose population. And I'll tell you right now, Josh Shapiro has embraced. He showed us his true colors. I mean, he's embraced all of Kamala Harris's wonderful ideas for taxing the so-called rich and everything else. And that's his vision for Pennsylvania. There's no way we can be the next Florida, the next Texas, when we have lack of vision, lack of planning, and lack of pro-growth initiatives. So it's a two-step. We got to win this November 5th. Let the president hit the macros, and then we got to get serious here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Congressman Dan Muser, thank you so much for taking the time out. I know you're busy with, dealing with obviously the budget crunch and all of that. I love that you're on among the committees, the Problem Solvers Caucus. We need more of that.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. I think we all should be on it, but I'm definitely staying on it. So, hey, Dawn, thanks. You do such a great job. Really appreciate you.
Thank you, Congressman Muser. And you can obviously follow him on social media. There's so much happening right now. Dan, I loved that Congressman Muser, when he talked about, what a great feeling it was and how inspiring it was to be there in Butler. That was an incredible moment as we think about it. All right. Well,
really
did you hear me, Dan?
Yeah, no, it really was. And I wish I could have seen it because it sounds like it was just such an absolutely amazing event with the Lee Greenwood and then the Star Spangled Banner all being sung in harmony. And
yeah. I mean, and Lee Greenwood, I will say that I didn't know initially that he was on stage because you're looking over at Trump and then you realize he's there in person in Butler. And that stuff. How many?
So used to hearing it, right? That you're like, okay, yeah, here's another Lee Greenwood. Oh, it's actually Lee's here. Oh, wow.
But that one got me. That I got a little clumped. Discuss amongst yourselves, and then obviously Ave Maria, which is that was just beautiful. Yeah.
And they can't take that away.
He gets a little emotional. Lee Greenwood. Yeah.
I don't know if he can make it through the song anymore without getting emotional, it seems like.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, to have somebody, and he's just, it was just so great, the whole rally, but I'm glad to see, did you notice all the Secret Service? You know what I mean? Thank God.
Following him like that.
Okay, and that should be for every former president and any current president. Nobody I think that's something we can all agree on.
You count 6 of them, and they're following him on the ground as he walks on stage.
But no doubt that you've got guys in a hat. You know what I mean? There are the guys that might not be in the men in black gear with the black sunglasses. And then there's always the woman right behind you. You ever notice this?
Yeah.
There's always that person who doesn't realize that they're right on camera. Do you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, because they're like doing something, they're fixing their hair. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you see one of their girls. This happened, I think, in this rally in particular. And you see her girlfriend, all of a sudden you see her lean over and her girlfriend or somebody near her tells her, that on TV, you're right behind the president's head and people on social media are commenting like and then they're like, oh my gosh.
Looking at the video right now, she looks at her phone and it looks like she's finding that out as we speak.
Yeah, so she's like, oh, I'm on. Oh. But it was I loved it. It was a great moment. Elon Musk, don't you feel like all these people, that them, every one of them, because you follow them?
Yeah.
And I'm that person this morning, Nikhil was saying, and who was it? Who was saying this, that there are some people who all they think about is Trump? Was it Nick? I forget now. One of us said it. Maybe it was Sean Farish, who was filling in for Greg Stocker, I don't know what hopefully Greg's not job hunting. But anyway, I know, I always worry. I'm like, don't leave me.
He was up in New York. He took a train to go.
What was he doing?
He was launching the Fairless stuff.
That's all right.
Yeah.
All right. I might as well.
He went up there. Rich did a broadcast from New York yesterday, and you can hear Greg laughing in the background.
But I'm one of those people. Like we're college hunting with David, my youngest son, in high school. We're on Temple's campus on Sunday.
Oh,
and they've got the band.
I got to pause you. You're considering sending him to Temple?
Okay, Lou Klein.
Okay.
The communication school is named after Lou Klein.
Yeah.
He was a mentor of mine.
Gotcha.
I love Lou Klein.
Gotcha.
I would be remiss if I didn't take my kids, all due diligence. By the way, the Lou Klein Communications and Media School, fantastic.
Really good.
Right? Those students, they go to the actual Emmys, not just a student Emmy, and they win Emmys. They're very good.
My dad was a journalism professor there, actually.
Really?
Yeah. And he was an editor for the Inquirer at one point. They got really good professors in that department teaching these kids, and a lot of the radio station produces a lot of talent too. It's a really good media program at Temple. I got to give them that.
So, it's only appropriate that our youngest, none of the other kids ever had any interest in broadcasting or journalism. The youngest one has an interest, so we took him to Temple, but they have the band. And guess what they do? I have it on video.
Interest? Like what specific broadcasting
Investigative
genre?
journalism.
Really? Look at that.
Yeah.
Taken after her parents, huh?
Right?
Yeah.
But not so much commentating. I just think that he hears us all the time talking about the need for people who dig for the truth and getting to that nitty gritty, even though sometimes it's annoying. But so I think that's his interest area. But while we're walking, and the band, we're fantastic, and they're playing their fight song. How do they end? Fight, fight, fight. So I was recording on it, and I go, Larry, I think they're for Trump. There are these big red T's. Fight, fight, fight. He's like, will you stop?
It is, Larry. Come on.
But come on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's subliminal. He's everywhere. Are you one of those people?
You can actually hear. Listen. Ready?
Well, listen to the end.
Oh.
See?
Fight, fight, fight for the cherry and the white.
See? But fight, fight, fight. And they were just, with the big red T. I'm just saying. It's a white T, but it's got the red in the back. They were just shaking their heads at me the whole
wonder
time.
what percentage of students on Temple's campus appreciate Trump.
Probably more than we think.
You think so?
Then we stopped at D'Alessandro's. I forgot how good their cheesesteaks are.
Yeah.
They're huge. They give so much beef. It's like too much.
The beef?
And there was a line in the whole thing.
Yeah.
And there you have your Trump supporters. There were people with these MAGA hats that were like brand new, beautiful MAGA hats. It was awesome. Yep.
Well, thankfully you didn't go to that one cheesesteak place where McCormick's banned now.
I know. Why do they do that? And then they claim, oh no, we didn't ban anybody. It's a sin. 855-839-1210. What did you buy? What are you buying for Amazon Prime Day? Are you into that?
Did not have my keyboard.
They don't have it. I'm sure they do.
No, they don't have it on sale. They don't have it. I'm looking at the Yamaha P45, the Roland 10X. Neither are on sale today, Dawn.
That's ridiculous.
I know.
Make
How
Amazon
dare they?
great again. 855-839-1210. Hey, we have so much sound that Dan has been pulling, so you got to hear all of this. And why does one famous documentarian who has been right about past elections predicted Trump would win in 2016? What is he saying about this year? And I don't like what he's saying. I hope he's totally wrong, but I want you to hear it. I want to talk about it and much more just ahead.
October is the perfect time for the Zeoli Army to storm the beaches of Cape May, so join me Friday, October 11th, 3 to 7 p.m. for our next live show at my happy place, the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. The bar will be open, your fellow Zeoli Army members will be there, and I want you to be there as well. Don't miss this live show. It's going to be a blast. All the live shows are always an amazing, amazing event. I'll see you Friday at the Grand Hotel.
Honey, is our car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My sister just got an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover our repair bills if anything happens to our car, new brakes, a transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait a minute, we pay nothing on the repairs? Ox gets it fixed for us? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance? What's the number?
800-224-8517. Ox has a 30-day money-back guarantee and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike other warranty companies. We should call now. 800-224-8517.
The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-224-8517. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-224-8517, or go to oxcarcare.com.
When was the last time you watched your home movies?
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The following is a paid commercial message. Bob Casey supported radical sanctuary city policies, and Casey said,
I want to be held accountable if something doesn't work out well.
Casey's sanctuary city policies haven't worked out well. They release dangerous illegal immigrants onto our streets. In fact, Casey's sanctuary city policies released one illegal immigrant felon in Philadelphia who then raped a 5-year-old Pennsylvania girl. Casey made us all less safe. Casey not only supports these crazy policies that put convicted felons back on our streets, he'd make things even worse. Casey voted to give illegals with violent criminal records amnesty. Casey supported amnesty even for illegals convicted of domestic violence and child abuse. Rewarding illegals convicted of domestic violence and child abuse? It's insane.
I want to be held accountable.
It's time to hold Casey accountable. It's time for a change. It's time to fire Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
There's nothing quite like the Honda Civic Hybrid, Accord Hybrid, and CR-V Hybrid when it comes to exhilarating efficiency. With hybrid technology and thrilling capability, these vehicles deliver an electrifying performance on every drive. But what truly makes these hybrids special is the unwavering determination that inspires everything we do. Redefine your driving experience with Honda, KBB.com's best value brand of 2024.
Contact your local Honda dealer today.
Based on 2024 Consumer Choice Awards from Kelley Blue Book, visit kbb.com for more information.
Hey, Ambler. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Follow us anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
There is Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States of America. She can't think of one thing that she would have done differently if she were the president. But see, she is the Vice President. This is her administration. Technically, she's got to own it. So she's on The View. Is this live? Is this a live show right now?
Apparently it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't say live, though, as you noted one time in the past.
I know.
It says,
so I always am a little suspicious.
Yeah, a little suspicious, yeah.
Whether it's actually live. Because there's a thing called live to tape. And so you can, sometimes you can start to tell. But usually if it's live, it's actually live and not live to tape. So I just wonder if they did it, I don't know, an hour ago, or they're doing it on a delay, that sort of thing. I'll tell you this, what strikes me, couple things. First of all, when she's on television sitting in a group with these women who are not, none of them are like tall or big women. So what you realize is she is very petite. So I think she claimed that she's 5'4"-ish, but she's not. Because I've met some of the, like Katie Couric, she did a thing with her, and Katie towered over her. So when you look at them, this is a very petite woman. They want to hide that. They're putting her in the sort of 1980s, when the big shoulder pads and tailored look. And I do wonder, as far as fashion, they're trying to make her look bigger and commander-in-chiefy, if you will. And that's by design, and that's something that campaigns do. And so I just wanted to visually note that for you. I'm not making fun of it. I would probably suggest the same thing, but that strikes me. And a lot of sucking up and gushing. I predicted the other day that if anybody asks the good question or the gotcha question, it's going to be Whoopi, because she seems to be sometimes the only authentic person who asks a real question and isn't worried about gushing. So if it's anybody, I think it would be Whoopi Goldberg, but we'll see. Dan's monitoring it.
I do have some audio if you want to.
Yeah.
Want to take some audio?
Yeah.
So here we have Whoopi actually asking about the call she received from Biden, saying that he was stepping aside, and Kamala's excuse for why this funkiness happened. Take a listen.
You get this phone call, and I guess you can tell who's calling, and what does he say?
So I'll set the scene for you.
Okay. Mhm.
So it was a Sunday, and our family, my niece, her husband, and their 2 daughters were staying with us. And I had promised them that Sunday Auntie was going to make pancakes and bacon, and we were going to have a really... And, the kids wake up, the girls, they're 6 and 8, they were at the time, they wake up early. We always wake up the first.
Right.
So they come knocking on the door, and then we have our quiet time in the morning, just me and the girls. Right. And so I went to work out, and I had on cooking shows, and they were asking me, Auntie, what's that ingredient? What's that ingredient? And they're playing while I'm working out. Make breakfast. We sit down. We're having breakfast. And we'd been working on a puzzle. So they wanted more bacon, got more bacon. And then, you know how it goes. Yeah. And so then we had a puzzle, so we went back up to work on the puzzle. I'm still in my workout clothes.
Right.
And we're working on the puzzle, and the phone rings.
Right.
So I said, Auntie will be right back. And it was the president. And he told me his decision. And I'll tell you, the first thing I asked him is, are you sure? Because what a big decision.
Yeah.
And historic.
Oh, yeah.
And we talked for a while. Meanwhile, I went back into the room where the girls were, and I'm like, go get your father. Because I knew he'd be up somewhere. And so we laughed afterwards. Nick is their father. We laughed that Amara, the elder one, was kind of like Paul Revere, and Leela, the younger one, was Paul Revere's horse.
So what strikes me is this, and the reason it's important that Dan played the first part of that, when I'm hearing this for the first time, is how you get a baseline in anything, whether it's concussion protocol, whatever testing you're going through, you want the baseline. So she's talking about nothing, right? She's talking about nothing. She's going on and on and on and on about bacon and pancakes and kids. And she was asked a serious question about a moment in history. And on and on and on. And there's a certain cadence and a certain way she looks when she's speaking. And that's the truth. So that's your baseline for the truth. That's how she speaks when she's telling the truth. Okay, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, but you know what? I have studied people my entire life, and as a professional journalist and reporter, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I study people, and so that's her baseline for when she's telling the truth. Look at how she looks, listen to how she sounds, her cadence, her way of speaking, it's a little faster. And so then when the lie comes, the looking down, averting her eyes, and the speech is way slower. There's a notable difference in the second part of what she's saying, because she's talking initially about nothing stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? That's the baseline. Where she's not quite telling the truth, or there's something to me that's not fully true in that, whether it's, I don't know, the way it happened, or is it that they knew this was coming and there was a plan, which is what I suspect, as I suspected long even before the debate, because I was suspicious, not that I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I did suspect that they were doing a debate in June, which has never been done before in a presidential debate before a major election in our nation's history. And I was like, something's up with that.
You know what it reminds me of? And it's the same thing as the middle class answer that she gives, and then she gives a speech from the one book or poem that she always does. It's you know when David or one of your sons is bringing home note cards to memorize at night, and then right before you finally put them down, you say, without the note cards, I want to hear it, and they read it back to you?
Yes.
It's almost like she's reading directly off of a note card out of memory when she does all these things. It's clearly scripted for her, and it's so inauthentic, and it's one of those things that a scriptwriter puts together to try to drive authenticity. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for her.
And also, when you ask somebody, I mean, not for nothing, but if I go on and on about what, like I did earlier with the CBO and I'm trying to give, some tangible numbers to something to explain a point, right? But she's talking about bacon and then a little more bacon and the pancakes and da-da-da-da. To me, that's just a serious person who's in the midst of a tough battle running for president of the United States of America. It was just kind of a bizarre long story, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I don't know. And it wasn't like, I don't know. I think that part was the true part of the story, that they were having pancakes and they liked the pancakes and the bacon. Why is she going? Because you may ask yourself, well, why is she going on The View? Men do not watch this show. If you're a man who genuinely watches the show, I want to hear from you, 855-839-1210. Men do not watch this program, okay? I promise you that. The bulk of the viewers, women. Unless you're stranded in does your chiropractor Dan?
My chiropractor definitely doesn't. She
does not.
She's not the kind of person that keeps on The View. Or maybe she does, just out of hate watching. But no, I really think at least 50% of their viewership is just empty doctor's offices that they have the screen on, tuned into ABC, and it's just left on all day.
Yeah, so women. And then why did she go on with that? And that was a pretty crude podcast but very honest, it's Call Her Daddy, that they say is the #1 podcast for women, because like Joe Rogan, his doesn't count, because although Joe Rogan has more female listeners, I believe, if you think about it, he has more of a co-ed audience, men and women, but in truth he has so many millions more that I would love to see the real numbers for this, honestly. But why is she going on these shows like Call Her Daddy, The View, all these different audiences that are women? And that brings me to the final. Do you want to go to a break, or do you want to?
Yeah, we got to hit a break.
We got to hit a break. Around the corner, I'll tell you why I wanted to tee that up for a certain person who says this is why she's going on all these shows. What is Kamala Harris? What is she banking on? That just ahead right here on The Dawn Show as we continue. But first, are you ready for an escape? Speaking of your favorite chiropractor, who's a friend of mine, and I hope she goes. Let's escape together to paradise. Once again, the Italian Riviera. This is a gastronomical event. And if you know Conservative Tours, you know that Conservative Tours is the only one who can deliver. Join me for 11 luxurious days with the professionals from Conservative Tours. They are the best tour operator in Italy, hands down. A+ rating with the BBB, Better Business Bureau. Look it up. Portofino, Rapallo, Santa Margherita, Ligure, Tuscany, and the brilliant Cinque Terre. $53.78. This is amazing. $53.78 includes your airfare, dining events at the wineries in Tuscany, and yes, even an authentic farm visit to see Parmesan cheese being crafted by hand. Toll free, call now, because remember last year it sold out, and some of you were texting me, Dawn, are there any spots left? 888-733-9494. Man, we made so many memories together and had so much fun together. You got to do this. 888-733-9494. 888-733-9494. Just go to conservativetours.com if you want to see more, because there are pictures and it takes you through all the locations where we're visiting, including hidden Italian villages you've never seen, like Giacomo Puccini, San Gimignano, Leaning Tower of Pisa. Florence is gorgeous. Michelangelo's, remember, was from Florence. It's so beautiful. Milan. And then we will conclude on the Lakes region with Bellagio, Orta, and Isola Bella. Isola Bella. I looked all these pronunciations up to make sure, so I was looking at all these beautiful Italian villages. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I can't wait. You got to join me next spring in Italy. I'll see you in Cinque Terre. Tell them Dawn sent you.
We are locked into a very pleasant weather pattern through the rest of the week. Plenty of sunshine today with a high up around 71. Another clear night tonight and chilly, low 50 for the city and 40s out in the suburbs. And another seasonable day on Wednesday, plenty of sunshine and breezy with a high 71.
Is your home cold and drafty, or windows and doors just won't open like they used to anymore? Brighten your home with new doors and windows from Edmunds Roofing and Siding.
We offer a wide selection to fit your style and budget, ensuring energy efficiency and aesthetic appeal.
And new doors and windows enhance your home's value and comfort.
Call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit us at callemons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Edmunds, we have you covered.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Aaron Nola and the Phillies take on the Mets in a pivotal Game 3 of the NLDS. You can register to vote at tonight's Sabrina Carpenter concert. A nonprofit is working with musicians to help young voters sign up. And New Jersey and some other states are suing TikTok, claiming it's addictive and harmful to children.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
You do everything you can for your family. A nice home, good food, family fun, and the right medical care. You plan ahead for your kids' future and their education. That's all great, unless something unexpected happens to you. If you were to die, who would pay the mortgage and all the other bills? Would your family have to sell their home just to survive? That's why you need to call Term Provider for the lowest rates available on quality term life policies, period. Rates for term life are at all-time lows, and Term Provider could save you 50, 60, even 70%. Already have coverage? Call and see if you're paying too much. Term Provider could save you thousands. And if your health isn't perfect, even more reason to call. We'll match you with the right policy even if you have weight issues like diabetes or high blood pressure. Right now, your family's protected. Make sure that protection continues if something unexpected happens to you. Call for a free quote and see if you can save up to 70%. Call 800-200-1966 now. That's 800-200-1966. 800-200-1966.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/rain to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/rain. That's leaffilter.com/rain.
Hey, Southampton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
This is your vice president, America. Your vice president, who could possibly be the next president of the United States of America. So this person interviewing for a job, what does she have to say about the border policy that we've already established according to bipartisan supported committees that are watchdog groups? At least $16 billion. That's what you've paid to illegal folks who've come here illegally, are here in this country. $16 billion on just Medicare and those kind of services. But what are you playing first, Dan? Are you going to
60 Minutes last night? Her comments on immigration, where she's pressed on why she hasn't done anything where she's sitting in office. Take a listen.
I've been covering the border for years, and so I know this is not a problem that started with your administration.
Correct.
But there was an historic flood of undocumented immigrants coming across the border the first 3 years of your administration. As a matter of fact, arrivals quadrupled from the last year of President Trump. Was it a mistake to loosen the immigration policies as much as you did?
It's a long-standing problem.
Hard cut.
Which he already
and
acknowledged.
Solutions are at hand. And from day one, literally, we have been
Day
offering
one?
solutions.
What I was asking was it a mistake to kind of allow that flood to happen in the first place?
I think the policies that we have been proposing are about fixing a problem, not promoting a problem. Okay?
But the numbers did quadruple.
And the
under
numbers
your
today,
knowledge.
because of what we have done, we have cut the flow of illegal immigration by half.
But should you
we
have done
cut
that?
the
Should you
flow
have
of
done that?
fentanyl by half, but we need Congress to be able to act to actually fix the problem.
So, good kudos to CBS and 60 Minutes. Jimmy Fallon, by the way, before you go to your next clip from The View, similar. Jimmy Fallon, who's here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. So the worst part of the 60 Minutes interview was when she asked, how long is this program? I laughed out loud. Thank you, Jimmy Fallon, for the laugh. As always. Did great in his debut, by the way. But Dan has been monitoring this View interview, if you will, conversation.
Yeah, so she was asked a similar question about the immigration after that horrible answer last night on 60 Minutes. Let's see if she can do any better today on The View. Take a listen.
Madam Vice President, when you were here last, I asked about the border, which remains a top issue to voters. And as you rightly pointed out, the former president blocked the strongest border security bill in decades.
As you rightly
but there
pointed out.
remains this perception among voters that the Biden administration dragged its feet and waited too long to act to address the border crisis. Can you speak to why voters may feel that way?
Sure. Well, first of all, to your point, when we first came in office, hours after we were inaugurated, the first bill we offered, before infrastructure, before bringing down the cost of prescription medications, it was to fix our broken immigration system. And it never got taken up, in large part for political reasons, because solutions are at hand, and we need to fix the problem. Then, to your point, a bipartisan group of members of the United States Congress, including some of the most conservative members, worked together with our support to craft the most serious and strong border security bill we've seen in years. Yes. Donald Trump got word of it and told them, don't put the bill up for a vote, because he didn't want a solution, because he preferred to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. So then we had to do, in addition to what we've done since day one in trying to strengthen the border, we took further action in terms of executive action. We have seen illegal immigration reduced by half, the intake of fentanyl reduced by half.
Okay,
But
can I just interrupt real quick here? So when did they take, Dan, just forgive me, because she's being asked about, she first claims that from day one they were providing solutions. So just, Dan, maybe I'm wrong about this. When did she take office as vice president of the United States of America? She and Joe Biden. What year was that?
I want to say it was about a while ago now, Dawn.
It was, how long have they been in power? It was like 3 years and like 9 months ago?
Yeah.
Something like that,
Yeah,
right?
nothing,
3
no.
years, 9. So,
no executive orders, no. Nothing, no.
So when was that bipartisan border bill? When did it fail the procedural vote in the U.S. Senate? Close to June of this year. It was late May. Okay. So if it failed to advance due to a procedural vote, and that was basically, almost June 1st, then she had been in office 3 years, 3.5 years. So after 3.5 years, what happened after 3.5 years? What happened after 3 years was that, I guess, how many millions of people came in? So even by I know, thank you for the Jeopardy. Thank you. Let me think. So that's really what, Bill Whitaker of CBS News, that's what they're all asking her. And then she plays this word salad game and says, well, Donald Trump, blah, blah, blah. And by the way, there are even Republicans and Democrats who say that the bill was flawed and that it had problems. As a matter of fact, I was looking at the headlines of of not, any publications that are considered to be, right wing, that they were saying it was a failed bill, that there were other flaws in it, and that it had a lot of problems, and that they were trying to push it through, which makes me think, it makes me think, you know what they did? They knew that this was a huge issue because you know what they do? Internal polling. So they realized, oh, crud, we made a big mistake. Maybe we should have stopped at maybe we should have stopped it at 9 million, where they can only say 9 million because there are some estimates, even they admit to, that are 11, 12 million people that came in. Because remember, they were flying people in from airplanes and over the border, and there are all these little games that they're playing. But even they admit to at least, I think, 11 or 12 million people are here illegally. And then there are other estimates that say, no, it could be more than, it could be as much as 20 million if you look at during the entire 4-year, 3 years and 9 months, whatever you want to say. So what did they do? Well, they created a bill that they say, this is the border security bill. And it's got bipartisan because we had a few Republicans who sign on to it. And then we can go, aha, see, they don't want this. Really? When is it going to pass? When would it have passed? June? July at the earliest that it would have ever passed if it was going to pass. So see, they propose the thing so that it can fail, so that at least they have some cover. So they create the cover and the camouflage. And she's camouflage Kamala. So this gives her a little camouflage so she can hide beneath that. But the truth is, she was already in office 3.5 years. The truth is, she could have done something since day one. The truth is, she did not. Failure of leadership. Boom. That's it. That's all I got.
That's a great point. Great point.
So it's annoying. And stop playing with me. She and this administration, they're playing with us. Don't get played. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Hey, it's Greg with Kale & Company. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. Looking to Thursday Night Football if you want a same-game parlay for the game 49ers and the Seahawks. Check out this one. Brock Purdy on the over passing yards, DK Metcalf on the over receiving yards, and Kenneth Walker for an anytime touchdown. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Greg, FanDuel.com/Greg to make every moment more this season. FanDuel Sportsbook, the official partner of 1210 WPHT. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over, President PA. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is a commercial for California Psychics, America's most trusted psychic network. So, if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. No, really, this is it. You won't see your soulmate's face in the clouds or your career path mapped out in your cappuccino foam. This really is it. We could add some dramatic sound effects if you'd like. So what you waiting for? Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Get your child or grandchild into the best position to have an outstanding school year. Now's the time to call Kathy Gannon, METC, to help your student. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. For over 30 years, METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Gannon, has helped people of all ages to grow personally and academically. Call Kathy at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep, as well as academic skills and leadership training. 215-493-4200. Now Now's the time to get assistance for your child to help them succeed. Visit online at metc.com. Call METC's Tutoring Studio at 215-493-4200 or email Kathy directly at info@metc.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. Call 215-493-4200, 215-493-4200.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
They're pounding on the door. They're calling on the phone. They're threatening to close your business. If debt has your business on the brink, call Ray Reynolds, the godfather of credit. For over 40 years, Ray Reynolds has helped thousands of customers get millions in cash credit. It's no wonder why they call Ray the godfather of credit. He may even be able to raise your score above 750 before the end of the year. You could even get a new personal or business credit line up to $50,000 within days. If your credit needs a rebuild, call Ray Reynolds and receive a $1,000 cash credit card at closing. Raise your credit score to 750 or more. Call Ray Reynolds at 800-576-2295. 800-576-2295. Learn about Ray's secrets to success and how he can fix and improve your credit score to 750 or more. Call the godfather of credit rebuild, Ray Reynolds, at 800-576-2295. 800-576-2295.
Keep free speech alive. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
The border is wide open. It is the Biden border policy, and now Chuck Schumer is trying to pull a political stunt and pass a bill that does nothing to secure the border, which is what the American people are wanting to see. We know that the Border Patrol has said repeatedly, put a physical barrier in place, give us better technology, more officers, more agents. That is the way to secure the border. That is what you find in H.R. 2, which has languished in the Senate for over a year. Let's take it up, let's secure the border, and to the Biden administration, when we pass a law, why don't you abide by the law?
So good. Dan Borowski's the best. So I had mentioned that Marsha Blackburn, I know she had spoken out about it. Sure enough, he found that. But that clip was, what's it dated? May 24th, late May, right? May
23rd.
May 23rd that she said that. And so you think about that as they were talking about it, and that was in the Senate, even if they had passed it, and then it would have to go to the House, and they all said, you know what, not for nothing, let's just pass something bipartisan. And then they wanted, by the way, to put in at some point some voter ID, right, as a provision too. Nobody wanted that. But here's an ironic part of this. One of the people who opposed this thing, guess who it was? At the time, New Jersey Democrat Senator Bob Menendez. He said in a statement that major chunks of this very piece of legislation that Kamala Harris is talking about read like an enforcement wish list from the Trump administration and directly clash with the most basic tenets of our asylum system. So Menendez, as well as other Hispanic Americans, were against this piece of legislation. It wasn't just Republicans who didn't like pieces of it, or who at least wanted to put in there that to vote you had to have ID and show your citizenship. So I'm just saying it's such a lie, and it's disingenuous for the vice president to say what she's saying yesterday and today. And when you know that information, right, it's like when you see something, you cannot unsee it, or being burdened and unburdened, whatever her saying is, it makes you realize how biased the media is. So either they're incompetent and they don't know all of this, which I think is not true. I think they know, they just don't ask that important follow-up. And that's the key here. So you say to yourself, well, Dawn, how, come on. I mean, look at everything you're talking about, the economy. You got the Middle East, you got rockets being fired in the Middle East, this White House right now saying they've lost confidence basically in Benjamin Netanyahu. not supporting a critical ally in the Middle East. We got the southern states underwater, people dying and the death count rising. I mean, the economy is a mess. I mean, come on. I mean, this is not even close.
I have actually Kamala throwing blame at Trump for the hurricane response.
Kamala, and I'm calling you Kamala because for all of those who are mispronouncing it, I want you all to know how to say it. There you go. But let's talk about something you would do different from Donald Trump. Right now, there is a monster storm barreling towards my state of Florida, a place that's still reeling from Hurricane Helene. Trump is lying, claiming that the Biden administration is intentionally withholding aid from the areas where Republicans live, and that FEMA funds are being redirected to migrants. Ironically, that is something he did in 2019. What do you think the effect of these lies are, and why is he doing this?
Well, it's profound, and it is the height of irresponsibility and, frankly, callousness. So lives are literally at stake right now. I traveled to Georgia.
Why are you not sitting your butt on the show?
Hurricane Helene. In Georgia.
What are you doing now? She's the Vice President of the United States of America. She's sitting in she was in the green room in hair and makeup, and she's on The View. And then the moment when she was shooting that For Your Daddy, whatever, nasty podcast that's all salacious and dirty and talking about man parts and who needs to be waxed, while that was going on in that podcast recording, people were being swept. Literally their lives, just being swept away, and their homes being swept away in places like North Carolina. So this is just irresponsible, and she just this is why I can't talk about her, because it's just so annoying. And you know what's really annoying is, I know we got to go to Dom Giordano, and I'm so glad we're live and local so we can continue the conversation with you. But it's just so annoying. And then for Michael Moore to say the fact that he predicts a landslide because women are going to.
I don't have that. Sorry, Dom.
That's okay. Maybe you'll play it later. But the bottom line is, Dom, as a woman, I'm just horrified by the fact that some of these experts who've called the last elections have said, but we can count on women. They're going to vote for Kamala. And I'm like, really? It's, oh my goodness. My head wants to explode. You know what I mean? Well, I'm going to identify as a man or something.
Well done.
You're not allowed to vote for Trump, Don. Come on.
Yeah, Joe Biden creaked out of wherever he was and said, "You and I are un-American." So what we have to do, this is on the hurricane stuff. The only thing we have to do is be disciplined. Don't make any wild comments. Document it. Hammer it. Shove it down their throat. They are beyond an embarrassment. Yes. They are evil on this, that people are suffering, and they're continuing to just attack and say that's un-American to bring it to everybody's attention.
Beautifully said. Dom, what have you got coming up?
Oh, we have today, we have the guy we love, the Lieutenant Governor under Arnold Schwarzenegger, Latino, about the Trump visit to Reading, and Stern interview. We'll be playing that when it starts at 1 o'clock today with Kamala Harris.
So much happening. The Dom Giordano Show is right now. Thanks, Dan.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Hey, it's Rich. As the early winter is coming, water will freeze and thaw around your property and into your foundation, and that's when the worst damage will happen. I used to worry about water, but then Garden State Earthworks solved my water problem for good. When we had our wet basement, it was caused by excess outside stagnant water. We called Garden State Earthworks. They assessed and drained the water away once and for all. Call the guy I trust, Lou Vargo at Garden State Earthworks, 856-848-4444 or GardenStateEarthworks.com.
The leaves are changing color, the air is crisp, and it's the perfect time to fall into savings on a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Take advantage of these incredible offers. A 2025 XC40 for only $435 per month on a 36-month lease. A 2024 C40 for only $329 per month on a 36-month lease. Or get 3.99% financing on select new Volvos for 72 months. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter.
When was the last time you watched your home movies?
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact. The work that we have done, for example, capping the cost of insulin at $35 a month for our seniors is something
running
I care
out of
deeply
talking
about.
points. Bail me out. All right,
You're bailed out. You're bailed out.
That's it. One talking point, and even that for everything. The insulin. Oh, the same thing with Casey Jr. How about grocery stores? How about all that? What would you have done differently? So even though they were in the tank, beyond the tankery, now Howard Stern coming up, though, right now, well, no, an hour from now, we'll play you all that. I can hardly wait. The softball throwing today will be remarkable. They're all trying to outdo each other, but they kind of wandered into a question there that the Trump team ought to be able to exploit. She wouldn't do a thing differently than what Joe Biden did. Now, Biden comes out today and says it's un-American what's going on here, that we're being critical of the hurricane relief. And then he tries to praise DeSantis because DeSantis is into it with Harris now already. So what has to happen? And I'll play you one other cut from The View by Harris that underlines what we're fighting here.